If you know me, you know my terrible memory means that I often forget things that happened somewhat recently, so this is actually a benefit in some ways. I have learned to work around it by letting something that I used to love go by the wayside for a long period of time, then returning to it, and that is what we're doing in this video. In Dragonflight, I had started requesting people send me clips, especially funny ones or, noteworthy ones in general. That started at the beginning of Dragonflight. We got our first submission, and it was a doozy. We're going to actually go back and review every one of them, but this is something I've been wanting to do for a while now. It's been on my mind. People have been asking me what my favorite actual submitted clip was, all expansion. I don't know if I could crown a winner just yet, but we're going to go back and look through all of them, and then I want you guys to vote. You guys comment down below which one do you think was the funniest one. The season 1 playlist is one that I remember fondly because I had a really up and down time in my life go on at this point, and some of these videos I can remember the emotions that I felt when I published them. Like, it was a very strong memory, but I don't really remember exactly what happened in some of the keys. Love the fact that the thumbnail for the playlist is got a Christmas tree in the background too. That's pretty crazy. Okay, yeah, this one I remember very well, actually. Everything was like going wild in my life. I slept like literally probably only an hour and a half the previous night. I show up to stream. I'm basically like falling asleep in my chair, and this was the first key we did of the day. If you can't tell, somebody got kicked in the middle of combat there. You see the Warlock here in the group, and then all of a sudden he's just not going to be in the group anymore. This one is still like, I still have no idea what's going on here, but we talked about it a bunch over the course of the expansion, and somebody basically said that he probably had a macro for /remove corruption instead of /cast remove corruption, which is the name of the Resto Druid, like the spell, because every time something goes out that's dispellable, somebody gets kicked. It happens again on the boss here, which is it just looks funny. You see the frames just disappear in the middle of boss combat. Yeah, I even titled it "Disbands Just Keep Getting Stranger." Like, imagine disbanding because somebody just keeps accidentally kicking somebody. Second one in the playlist was like the one that really kicked it all off, though, because this was the first one that actually was submitted to me. This is by Cop. I just made a video recently. Cop is currently in the hospital, maybe going to miss the launch of the expansion, so trying to cheer him up. But I owe it to him, honestly, because some of these moments that he has submitted to me are wild. Like, okay, if you don't know what this fight is, guys, you see those two beams on that boss that they're fighting right now? You're only supposed to have one, and the way you have one is by tanking the boss on one side of the middle of this room. You're supposed to alternate from side to side, and this guy is doing an 11, and he is standing in the middle like the whole time. The first true submission on the channel that we actually reviewed, and this is what kicks it all off. So again, thank you so much, Cop. Get well soon. I hope everything's right. This is not going to be the only time we look at a Cop key, though, man. So Cop is here with our friend Seismical, who's like extremely geared. He's a very progressed player coming to help Cop in like a lower key. This is the guy who can't afford to repair in the middle of the dungeon. The rogue, he's saying he's like high the whole time, constantly getting hit by mechanics. The tank is basically like flaming him as well. Too much weed, man. He says he's kind of like on his case the whole time because, yeah, he's doing really poorly. But meanwhile, this is what the tank is doing. This is like the kind of pseudo elitism you see in Mythic Plus all the time, right? Watch this. There's the ad. There's the boss. Look at how far away these two are from each other. This is a dungeon that's currently in the season. Obviously, you want to cleave these two down. At one point, I said, "Where's the boss?" Theo responds, "In heaven." They're so far. Look how far away these mobs are. They're like 60 yards away, bro. Like, you can't. This is the guy flaming one of the DPS. Oh my god. This is definitely one of the craziest keys we reviewed all expansion, and the first true, like, crazy successful one out of all of these, and this really kept me coming back for more. Now, if you watch the Season 1 playlist, you will see a lot of Court of Stars, dude. Court of Stars is such a good low-key pug dungeon because it has so many positional things that people are just not good at. When you have, like, good players, they're usually really, really good at moving their character, positioning their character, anticipating movement-based situational problems. In the low keys, you don't have that. You see a lot of this where people are just kind of walking into patrols, letting patrols walk into them, totally unaware of things happening, and that is why Quarter Stars is such an amazing key. There's so many good examples of it over the years on this channel and even back in Legion. But this tank clearly was like in this boat where he's just not aware of where he needs to be or what he needs to do. And if you've never done this dungeon, there is 3 mini bosses that you had to kill in order to activate the boss. This guy just keeps killing them. Like after the 3rd, he goes and gets the 4th. But yeah, this is why Quarter Stars was such a mess. Like you needed to know where to tank, you needed to know where to stand, and you needed to know when these things were going to happen. On top of that, you still had Grievous and Thundering. Oh, this was a great one. This guy was like tilted before the key even started. You're like a minute and a half into the dungeon and this guy's already flaming people. The shaman says, I really feel like leaving this key, and as you see, they're not even 2 minutes into the dungeon. They fought 1 pack of trash. And the guy says, I really feel like leaving this key. He says, you're just fucking up all my CDs, tank. And again, this is 3 minutes into the dungeon. He says, why can't you heal, man? All right, this is titled The Strangest Disband I've Ever Seen, and I'm not going to change this title. It's still true. Like the craziest thing I've ever seen happen in a dungeon. Again, I guess you kind of have to know the dungeon to see exactly what's going on here. So if you've never done Halls of Valor, basically what everybody would do was they would pull all of these mobs together and then usually pull them into the next pack as well. This guy is the tank here, and he is gonna like somehow just like heroic leap over the mobs. You see, he just heroic leaps over the mobs and they don't aggro. So the priest just walks up to them and just gets 1 shot, and everybody blames the tank for this in this group and then disbands like within like 2 minutes basically. This is a good example of how clueless people are in the moment of a key, because they're blaming the tank for not getting threat, which yeah, I mean like technically they're correct, but that is not normal, bro. Like to leap over enemies, like I don't know that you can do that again if you tried. All right, this one is bad. This one was real bad. I remember this one very well, and yet another Quarter Stars. This one's all about just toxicity, and honestly kind of like the previous one where the person obviously comes in just mad or just upset beforehand. The group leader says no levers, right? And then after the key is actually started, the tank says, if you play like some brain dead, I wouldn't count on it. My patience with stupid people is below 0. Just never the way you would have started. Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, how silly is this? So I showed it in the video, but like basically he fucks up hugely there and then blames other people in this case. In Thundering, you were supposed to like combine the minus and the plus, and the tank has the 1 and he's just standing still. This was pretty common, to be fair. Usually the tank doesn't deal with it, but yeah, he could easily just walk into the other player and get it cleared, but instead he's just kind of standing there and then gets stunned and dies because of it. And in response to that and him dying to it, he then says, this is the exact behavior that pisses me off. It's like, okay, bro, maybe you should take a break from the game for a little bit. I'm going to tell you straight up, this is one of my favorite keys of all expansion. I rewatch this one every couple months just because of how funny this is. This was an amazing part about AV back in season 1. You can actually do this crazy skip where you're meant to like jump off this ledge and land on certain areas. You won't die. All right, we kind of do a similar skip now in our current route, but like watch this paladin just jump from the top and fall to his death. That cracks me up, dude. That physical humor is why I love Mythic Plus pugging. Just watching these people jump and fall to their death is actually insane. You see, was that an evoker? He like misses totally and then glides down to a death plane. I use this clip in like a bunch of funny other videos too because of how ridiculous this is to me. The priest, like they used levitate on the tank and the tank is trying to jump down. You're supposed to just like hop down and you'll fall down to the ledge. They levitate them and they just go like floating off into space. Oh, that cracks me up every time I see it, dude. Really, we were blessed in season 1 because AV and Quarter Stars existed. And yeah, man, I still can't get over some of these clips. This is another cop banger, dude, where the tank just like runs the wrong direction and everybody's stuck over here on the ice wall. And this still cracks me up because this demon hunter just says, what are you doing? Like, why do you have it? Look, he has to now run through all the ice to get back here. By the way, the demon hunter says that after doing this, do you see that he just literally walks off the platform and then glides down to his death? Oh yeah, okay. And then this one. So dude, a lot of the affixes have been removed, and I think anybody out there like clamoring for affix changes and getting rid of affixes, you really have to look back at some of the way the game used to be played. There was an affix called quacking, and whenever it would go out, it would hit anybody near you with this brown circle. And as you see, yeah, those people all stack up. Look at it, it's gone out. They're all stacked up because of a mechanic on the encounter. Only one person realizes this and gets away, and then the other 4 people straight up get one shot by the affix. Look at this. Watch this. Look at the health bars. They all die instantly. It's actually crazy. But that was season 1, and we did, like I said, like a voting, and I can't remember which one won. I think it was actually the cop one. I know it came down to the 2 AV ones that we looked at. So yeah, I can't remember which one won, but season 1 was crazy. But then season 2 takes like a harsh turn. Season 2 was like not funny at all. It was just sad. And this was the first week of the season. All right, I just showed you what you need to see right there. This is a balanced druid, not a resto druid, okay? As you see, there is a solar beam on the screen. They invited a guy who I don't know if he queued as a healer. I still don't know how this actually happened, but they basically invite a guy who is not a healer in the healing slot, and then they flame him for the entire dungeon because he's not doing a lot of healing. The funniest week of Mythic Plus pugging ever. You're gonna see a couple of these in season 2's playlist. There's just a lot of weird shit that goes on, man, and this one's pretty bad one here. This is on me. Look at this. So if you guys know this dungeon, I actually talked about it somewhat recently. You can fall down there. You know, the healer actually falls down first, to be fair, but then I drop down by accident as well. These mobs actually do affixes, like they do on death affixes. So as you see, they drop sanguine, and the mini boss has now like snapped down here, and there's just like a infinite respawning pool of these slimes. This is where the priest here is where like the guy, like, yeah, you see he uses some holy spell and aggro's the trash, and then we wipe to it, and then he blames me. Another one here where you like wipe on the last boss, and then the warrior just starts flaming the warlock and like uses his name against him. He says brain wreck, more like brain dead. Oh my god, yes, I forgot about this. This is the guy he hearths. Watch, you might be able to see it, like he is going to, instead of res somebody, he is going to hearth. See, this guy is dead. Watch, you can see him, he's casting it. Somebody said they can tell because it's green, it shouldn't be green or something like that, but you can actually see astral recall on the screen. Like, I mean, this was an upgrade, dude. This was a progression key for me. This is a 21. We basically just failed to upgrade a key because some guy hearthed instead of res. Bunch of clips from Chargath as well. There's a lot of bugs on this fight. There still are. I had another video in season 4 on Chargath as well. And then this one. So if the Pringle video didn't do it, this video surely did. 86,000 views on a video, and the title is 91% Mythic Plus Pug Disband Rate. I'm not even going to show you guys this. You guys need to go and watch this one on your own. It is the craziest compilation, and it's all from 1 week. We don't finish, I think we finished just 1 key all week or something like that. We had like 14 straight disbands. It was capstoned by the craziest thing ever. I think it was just somebody in the stream actually trolling, but it's still ridiculous to see it happen. So if you have not seen this video, pause the current one and go watch this one instead, and then come back and we'll catch up. This is, I will tease you though, just one clip. Okay, so yes, I accidentally grip the mob into the death of somebody else. Get this guy killed, yes, all right, but this is a great example. I talked about this in a previous video just a couple days ago. The boss is at 23% and there's 4 minutes, okay? So this is exactly what I was talking about in that previous video. We will not upgrade this. The guys are saying wipe, reset it. I'm trolling them, right? Blah, blah, blah. If I wipe this here, we will not upgrade this, okay? I know this for a fact. Now, what may not be immediately obvious is the boss takes 100% more damage under 30%. It looks like it's not enough time, right? But then we get back and they wipe again, okay? This is exactly why you want to solo save. This is exactly why you do not want your tank to get nerfed. These people basically say, I don't want to upgrade the key. Instead, I want to die to bullshit mechanics. You know, I could have easily solo saved this. We would have upgraded the key, but they basically, you know, chose to tell me to not solo save the key, and now we have the results here. I'll just finish it out of time for them instead. This one's actually crazy too, because this is a key that doesn't even happen. Like, we're reviewing a group that doesn't even start the dungeon. That's how crazy this was. The warrior says, sorry, I gotta go. Mommy's calling me. Like, I still don't know if this is a serious comment or what, but he just basically leaves the group he just put together after that comment gets made. So then the 3 people that are still in the group are like still talking about it. Like, it's something else. Like the shaman now says, Tank, is it okay to go under root with 2 O's? This still cracks me up. Like the Tank is like, bro, I came to do Bracketide. I'm not doing under rot. Oh, another instant classic as well, man. I forgot about this one. This guy goes offline on like probably the second pack of the dungeon, okay? He DCs, and this is like a Metro staple here, dude. I love doing this. When people DC in dungeons, then trying to like trick people into thinking that they DC'd for a reason other than like just random bad internet. So I said like, oh yeah, this guy was flaming you in Whisperers, and now he's offline, right? To mess with these guys. He actually comes back, okay? I said that they were flaming him because of his transmog too. So now they're talking about it for the rest of the dungeon. Just look at the guy says, eat a dick, because he's still mad about thinking he got his transmog flamed or something like that. Oh, this is a great one. Couple also 2s that are not finished at all. Like we reviewed a couple of these again back in the old version of 2s where they like wipe to what would be the easiest content of the game. This would be the equivalent of failing to be able to kill bosses in a heroic dungeon today. Another super strange one. The guy like doesn't know what dungeon he's in all of a sudden, and they're at the very end. He says, WTF, is this Mythic 0 after like 20 some minutes in the dungeon? He says it has no key number, but the guy actually leaves in the middle of the boss fight because he's claiming that like he's somehow been tricked into doing a Mythic 0. All right, now this is another famous one. If you guys haven't seen this one, it didn't catch fire like some of the other ones, but this is probably one of the actual worst keys that I reviewed all season. Yeah, this is the fluffy guy. This guy gets hit by like every single whirlwind. Like he dies like 13 times to mechanics that are totally avoidable, and then says shit like that. We won't make time if you all keep standing and shit. Like, what are you talking? Like another one, just stop watching this video and go watch this one. And they're just crazy. There's so many good ones. Okay, now at this point in the season, this is when I stopped like progressing at all. I started playing an observation evoker is what we used to call it. I really enjoyed this concept. I would do what I believe to be my job, but I would do nothing else. I would make no impact on the key in any way other than just showing up and being an observation evoker. We observed some crazy shit, okay? This was common. This happened multiple times in the season, and there's a bunch of videos in this playlist like this. These guys cannot get to the dungeon. Like they cannot figure out how to get to Oldham. Another one that you really got to just go watch. Like you got to hear how it unfolds. The one guy, dude, he ports to Silvermoon. He flies from, look at these guys are just lost. They're on the wrong continent. The one guy flies from Silvermoon, bro. Like it's just crazy, dude. You got to watch these clips. Supposed to soak all these mushrooms. You had to use these fire mechanics to do it. That guy just runs it the opposite direction into like the clear area. It's just like 40 mushrooms. Watch our health pool. This is so funny to watch. 3, 2, 1, boom, 18 stacks. Okay, we're dead. It was wild, dude. Low keys were wild, and this is what really got me into wanting to see the low keys, especially. I'll show you one more though, just because this one is actually like really crazy, really topical. This tank actually believes that in order to do this mechanic, he needs to get eaten on purpose. You're meant to run away. You're meant to stand in the puddles to avoid getting eaten. He believes he needs to get eaten on purpose, and I look at this as failure from Blizzard, bro. Like this is not acceptable. This is a 13, and this guy is thinking he needs to basically fail a mechanic to succeed it. You gotta blame Blizzard for this, because this means he probably has survived it before in the past. He's probably done this more than once. He even confidently says it that like, no, it's inevitable. You will eventually be eaten, so you just need to be able to survive it. And this sparked a full discussion that lasts basically 2 full seasons about why low Mythic Plus keys needed to be way harder, and that they needed to squish the difficulty to make that the case. Because you got players like this, man, who just are simply they think they're right about something that they're so obviously wrong about. It's really the game's fault, man. I have to blame the game for that. And they actually listen, dude. They actually listen. In season 4, they changed it to be exactly what I wanted to see, so I'm really happy with that. This is the second one where they fail to, they don't even finish the 2. It was actually a disbanded 2. The funny part though is like the warrior, look at that, he's gonna inspect the warrior. Wait till you see. He's got the Heart of Azeroth on. He's got got an heirloom ring and a Heart of Azeroth on. I didn't even notice that. A 194 belt as well, 178 wrists. Now this one actually got submitted like, well, I think it was during the season, but I didn't review it until the season was actually over. And I'm surprised we didn't see this more. It might be hard to see on the fly here without the actual audio, but this guy is going to get like knocked off the platform with the boss at like 0%. Watch this. The gut shot, he's all the way over there at the top of the screen. He gets knocked through that like little area there. The boss actually takes forever. He takes like probably 10 seconds to run all the way down there, and that boss is at 0%. It says it's 0% on the screen. So that was season 2. On to season 3. And guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, you gotta go watch these ones. I can't recap them in a way that they can live up to it. Season 3 was the pinnacle, and it is all thanks to Razan. Or honestly, just a Taldazar in general. Like, there is so many crazy moments that unfold in this dungeon. It's just a hit factory. It's just every single person who submitted me an Taldazar key, I found something to laugh at. I think I made a video on every single Taldazar submission. It's one of the easiest bosses ever. And it's just crazy to see how many people fail getting feared, getting eaten. Like, there's only the 2 mechanics. And like, look, people just getting eaten, people getting destroyed by the raptors. It's a friggin' key that just keeps on giving, and I miss it dearly. And Cop misses it dearly too, because we had some wild moments in it. So these guys are literally a 3-stack who are supposed to be like, they came into the comment section pretending like they were badasses, and they basically kill Cop there. So it's a pretty weird error. He gets feared. Obviously this is his mistake, but then at this point he gets gripped into what looks like at least one volcano. There's like 5 different ways he could not die here, and they don't happen. So I comment on this video. These 3 guys then leave the key, like get really toxic, because the only 2 actual pugs are the Warlock and Cop. Pentadot, I remember commenting on the Pentadot. They leave after 1 pull. This timer is like non-existent, by the way. It's like one of the easiest timers ever. So you could like literally you can probably wipe 2 or 3 times there at this level and still upgrade this at this point. They make absolute fools of themselves. Now, this happened kind of in the Dilson one too, but like, it's way worse than this. Way worse than this. This comment here I actually pinned. The guy says, can confirm it's a cult more than a guild, referring to the 3 people. They're all in a guild together. I think one of them was like the guild master as well, the guild. Best believe you will be dragged through the mud for trying to play with other people you know outside the guild. The name of the guild, whatever, SBC, was fun for the months I was in it, but looking back, I can tell it was toxic, and the fact they have broken apart and reformed with the same people goes to show the Kool-Aid is too strong, and they need to step outside the echo chamber. For the SBC members who wonder who this is, you can look at this person here. This is another one where I should have did this like I did with the Dilson. I should have read the comments and reacted to them, man. You should go and do this yourself. The comments here are crazier than the actual video. It's, from what I could tell, like people all from the same guild basically trying to like brigade the content. They're all trying to like make their point that's just like absolutely nonsense, bro. This is the easiest timer that's probably ever existed, and they're saying like, oh, because they wiped, this is totally justified that those 3 people should leave, even though like they literally caused the wipe. It actually comes out too that the guy bops himself as well. The tank accidentally bops himself or something like that. This is what I loved about this as well. He says, how are you going to say any of this is those guys' fault? You died to the easiest boss because you peeked, and you said it was the key was bricked off the rip. No one is going to stick around for something like that. This is not the only person who said this too, right? Look at this. He says, you bricked the key. Why are you blaming the other 3 people? Additionally, I would leave the key if you wipe on Razan. These guys, they come in here trying to brigade the content. They think I'm Cop. Like, this is crazy, dude. There's lots of comments on this video where there's another guy, I can't remember the guy's name, I can't find it right now. He's basically saying like, your DPS is terrible. You're not a good player. What? Did you not see? Like, look at the footage. You can hear Cop talking. It's a different person talking. He's commenting on something that goes out of the video, and then I'm commenting over it, and they think I'm the same person as him. Another just banger on Razan, man. There's just so many of them, bro. Like, not even just for low keys, man. This is a 19. 2 people feared. Literally, all you have to do is line of sight. Here comes Raptors. This Warlock fixated. Watch this. The Warlock fixated, doesn't even move. Like, gets freedomed. He doesn't even notice. He's just standing there totally unaware. It's just crazy. This dungeon was actually just insane. This one's called This Low Mythic Plus Pug Key Has the Strangest Behavior Ever. And it's like, again, I don't disagree with the title. There's actually like 2 of them like this in this playlist where these people are just like saying nonsense. Like I don't know what they're saying. Like I think they're either like drunk or they have something like actually wrong with them. The warlock's like lost. He's basically like kind of just blaming everyone else for being lost. He's kind of like just randomly ranting. He says, "Do you know what the word diplomacy means? It means find a way to benefit others." Like totally unprompted. Like bunch of how can I entangle myself to my own will instead of how to play as a team. It's just random. It's like 30 minutes of ranting. Here's the other one. This one's Everbloom. He says they're doing a 12 and like the hunter's being like super picky about the tank. Meanwhile, the shaman's just saying like insane shit. It says brothers and sisters and now all in between. I deeply desire to be you. Loved one close, blunt rolled up. Mythic plus queued up. This is the apex of mundane life, but I also rejoice in being considerable levels above you. I wish what you have was enough for me. Tight slot, big D, strong smoke. That's all to life there is, right? I'm more active than you will probably ever know. He asked for a fucking summon. I forgot about this. He actually asked for a summon after all that nonsense. He says, summons, let's ride on these fools. You are all very lucky to be in a group with me. Not because I am me, but because of the teachers I have had. He says, ha, you don't even care, as like nobody's responding to him as the dungeon's progressing, or know when an opportunity to save yourself presents itself. I hope you can all find your way, but it's doubtful. You are lost. Take care. Like basically like within 2 weeks of this, the warlock was like wild. This guy's wild. This guy's on something, right? Like there's something going on in his head. Okay, here's another crazy one. This actually happened to us a few times over the years. They do a countdown and then like nobody puts the key in, and so somebody leaves because they think like this dungeon isn't happening, right? So now look, there's only 4 people in the group right now, and they're still just like sitting here talking, trying to figure out whose key it is, right? And because like, you know, there's this pressure to do the key, like the guy probably comes back from being AFK and he's like, oh shit, they're all waiting on me. He doesn't realize the warlock left. So watch, he comes back. This is him on the red drake. He runs up there without 5 people in the group, and they look at the priest, says, don't do it now. And he puts the key in with 4 people in the group. All right, so this is the one. This is the biggest issue with low Mythic Plus plug keys. I made this video to try to raise awareness around this topic. These guys are doing a 14, and they have 2 players in the group who have done this key already on a lower difficulty that do not understand the basics mechanics of the fight. Watch this. You're supposed to take this mechanic to the like soak area, and you're supposed to like survive it by that way. See, just like Demon Hunter flies all the way over to the corner and just gets himself one shot. Now there's not enough people to do this mechanic, so only like 3 people can soak, and they're gonna wipe to this. Here's another one. Watch the mage here, the guy with the icicles, just getting run over, just totally ran over by this line. Watch, happens a second time, and this time it kills him. He says, is it bugged? The guy replies, no, you have to do these things. It's crazy. They're called mechanics. Holy shit, you're a clown. Like the guy keeps making these mistakes. This is basically a key that, you know, 2 people are really toxic and really aware, and then the other 2 people are really clueless, and they're all on the same key level. They're all doing the same key, and I squarely place the blame on Blizzard for this. They do not do enough to, you know, educate the players from failure. It's way too easy at the time to do like a 2 through 10 and fail and still upgrade keys. Like we saw with that bear druid who got eaten. He believed that he needed to do that, and he believed that because he had done it successfully and nobody died to it, right? That's the thing. Like he failed the mechanic, didn't get killed by it, so in his brain he got feedback from Blizzard saying you did it right, keep doing it that way. This is the same situation here. The Demon Hunter takes that mechanic all the way to the right side and solos it, and then gets like basically suicided because of it. He probably did that on the lower key too, and didn't realize that, like, you know, he survived it on the lower key, so he didn't realize he did it wrong. Look, again, just another one. The mage is down here. He's not standing in like the 150% haste buff at the end of the boss, and they're gonna fail to kill the boss because there's not enough DPS. You know, these guys flame each other, but in reality, it's Blizzard that they should be flaming, and I'm very grateful that Blizzard did listen. They did exactly what I would have asked. They squished the difficulty of the key level. Low keys are actually hard now. You do not upgrade every single low key you do for hours until you finally get to a hard level. But here is what I look at as like the crown jewel of key reviews. I pretty much asked for this the entire expansion, and now you can't really have it anymore. This is a completed but out of time 2. Now, the easiest key you can do is as well. Like you can't fail a 2. It can't go backwards. It's not like hilarious, but it's just crazy to watch. A big reason why they fail it is because they just, all 5 of them just don't know how to navigate the dungeon. They're just like totally unaware. Like they have no idea where to go. The map is not helping them. The map is very, very confusing in this dungeon. Basically just standing here, like everybody's just standing here and not progressing the dungeon. They spent probably like 20 minutes just trying to figure out where to go, stuff like that. And they actually only end up being out of time by like a few minutes, which is really crazy. This is the holy grail. This is what I wanted to see all expansion, and I finally saw it. There's actually so many good talkies though. Like I think I gotta just stop, man, because I'm gonna get addicted to this again. This is a 2, guys. They're doing a 2 and they're going left. Okay, like 2, super easy key. We just talked about how easy that is. They're making their lives so hard, right? Like look, they're gonna actually wipe to this ridiculous pull here on a 2. Then we're gonna do like the patented like I refuse to die bullshit. They're just like dragging it back to the entrance. Look at this, and they're all these mobs are throwing fire on the ground, so there's like nowhere to stand. Now they're actually at the entrance, like straight up at the watch this, watch how crazy this is, right? They die, the guy dies, he respawns, and he dies to the same mechanic that already killed him before. There's so many mobs at the entrance that like it's not even safe to res anymore. Like it's just, you've covered the entrance with fire. Look at how ridiculous this looks, dude. This is so ridiculous looking. 16 deaths to 1 pull in a Taldazar. And then of course this one, I sat on this the whole season. This was submitted like the 3rd or 4th week of the season, and I didn't make the video until the very end because I knew that this was going to be the craziest one of the season. These guys, again, just actually don't understand the mechanics. Like they have no idea what they're doing. I love the comment. The shaman says, this is literally always my issue boss, as he just keeps getting feared over and over again. We're like tanking it in like the craziest spots. I've never seen anybody try to do this. Kind of like use this like little angle on this wall by this waterfall to line of sight. It's called, is this the hardest low mythic plus pug boss ever? And yeah, the answer is yes. I could look at season 3 all day, honestly. There's 33 submissions in that one, whereas the other ones only had 20 in each of them. I'm going to miss it. I do already miss it, but there's been some cool moments in season 4. Obviously, this is more fresh, so I'm not going to go into these as much. If you guys didn't see this one, this is the first one of the season, though. You may have missed this one, and it has probably one of the craziest moments ever. They wipe like multiple times. I think they had 3 pulls on this to finally get Kokia Blazehoof down, and then this happened. Watch this. You know, everybody always says follow the tank, right? But I don't know how literally some people take it, right? Like the tank goes like AFK and he ends up like running off the edge, and then watch this behavior. Watch this. Look at how long it actually takes these guys just like basically follow him. Like, look at this guy. He's like, oh, yeah, all right, I guess I'll follow him too. This is absolute insanity. I mean, I still can't believe I have this on camera. Like, I cannot believe that somebody recorded this. Here's another one. This was only about a month ago, but yeah, basically they have the affix. Nobody's doing it. They have 4 different classes that can do it, and they all just start blaming each other, which is like absolutely insanity, especially considering the shaman can get both of them with 1 spell. But the reason it ends up being such a legendary video is because the paladin is sick of hearing about it, so he says play the game and stop talking in all caps. And the 2 other guys who could dispel says you should play the game, you need to play the game, you're not doing anything, loser. He calls him a loser. Then then the comment gets made. He says, if you know I cannot dispel, I'm not holy. Oh no, facepalm. We didn't really have any of these submitted, but I was hoping to see more of this, like a disbanded 0. It looks probably different than it is. This is like a true disband. Like this would happen in any world where Mythic Plus or Mythic 0 exists, right? Like a disbanded 0 where people are wiping the bosses and they just all leave. Like that's one thing, but this is something different. This guy is like, he's got the 5-man set to a raid group. This happens all the time whenever you're pugging Mythic Plus. I think it's because people accidentally invite a 6th player and then they just like accept the prompt without paying attention. The warlock like refuses to join. He says no, it's set to raid. And there's a bunch of comments on the video saying that this is like, I would do the same thing. It's like, bro, it doesn't matter. It's not a raid. You can't do a 5-man with 6 people. And the group just like dissolves because nobody wants to do it when it's set to raid instead of party. If you guys are out there and you're running into 0s that are failing, especially going into the war with on, please think of me, dude. There's probably going to be so many good ones. Our recent fascination though has been looking at EU keys? I had like no idea. I guess somehow like over the years it's been like mostly US keys that have been submitted, or like maybe I've just not really been paying attention, but like EU keys are like wildly toxic at times. Really strange behavior as well. This is the one where the tank just like runs for like just tries to like solo the trash and it's just like getting destroyed on every single pack. And of course it all culminates with this one. If you guys haven't seen this one, yeah, again, just stop watch. Just pause this. These two guys are like, one of them is like a title level player and they basically like just seemingly joining low keys just to like fuck around in. I really don't even understand it. Never really got any clarity on this. The priest is intentionally life gripping the guy who recorded this into his death, or like just trolling him with the grip constantly. Like he doesn't always die to it, but he's messing with them, stuff like that. He dies and they basically like res him and demand that he takes the res. So he doesn't take the res and they end up resetting the boss on purpose. They almost killed the boss. They only needed to get him a few more globals, and honestly at this point if he just took the reincarnation they could have killed the boss and this all would have been over. But the actual crazy part, like we call it toxic, but it is worse than that, man. This is like sociopathic. They are then like gaslighting the priest that is not with them. He's the shadow priest. The healer priest is the one gripping people. They are gaslighting this dude into thinking that they are doing nothing wrong and that it is actually the shaman who is trolling the group. This behavior is just utterly despicable. It's got no redeeming qualities to it. And there's actually people who try to defend it. Like we said earlier, like I don't know how many people are actually from this group, like this guild or whatever, but yeah, I don't care if you are or not, man. Like your friend's a scumbag. You should admit this and he should apologize. I offered them the opportunity to come on this channel. I would say I'd do an interview, let him say his side, let him say his piece, you know what I mean? Because obviously they seem to disagree that they did anything wrong here. But yeah, radio silence on that, still waiting on that. So yeah, nearly 100 submitted keys that I actually made a video on. There's probably close to 500 submitted keys over the course of the expansion, and I want to thank you guys for that. I couldn't do it without you. Like, well, literally I couldn't do it without you, but I wouldn't do it without you either. You guys really care about this topic. I'm big on helping this game get better. The social problems in this game are not going away. The community gets more and more toxic. The lever mentality, like, I mean, we didn't even talk about it that much, man, but so many of these are because of the lever epidemic. People just giving up. Like, it's like a speed run to give up as fast as possible instead of to finish the dungeon. It's a real problem, and I'm committed to helping this game get better because unfortunately it doesn't look like Blizzard cares. They don't really want to help the pug community, even though this is like a huge percentage of how people play their game. So again, keep thinking of me. The War Within is going to be wild. It's going to be nuts. These are the hardest dungeons I've ever seen, and especially some of the actual War Within dungeons in the first season pool, they are going to chew people up and spit them out. So I really want to be active and get a lot of videos on the season 1 of that. If you guys are out there running keys, just press the record button. It's super easy to set up OBS. I'm considering making like a formal like application form for people to submit it, so it's easier. Right now I just have people usually email them to me, but yeah, I may be making a form. I don't know. We got a lot to do between now and the end of the expansion, so let me know what you guys think. Like I said, almost 100 of these. There's a lot more that I didn't cover, and they're all hilarious, so take a look at them. Season 1 was crazy, but man, season 3 probably was my favorite one. If I had to pick my actual favorite one of the whole expansion, honestly, I think it's just anything with the tall. Probably the one where Cop gets gripped into his death, and then those guys come into the comment section and like don't realize that me and Cop are not the same person. That one's gonna stick with me for a while. So thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you're submitting more funny runs. We still got plenty to come in season 4. There's still more videos coming on this topic, but these are the craziest ones of the expansion. So thank you for watching. We will see you guys in the next one.